Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, one of the funniest MCU movie series, becomes serious. Today we look at my LEGO set ideas for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so let's get right into it. Before we get into it, please subscribe, please like the video for becoming small and getting that Ant-Man suit that you've always wanted. So let's talk about the movie then. I really like the movie. At first I saw the critic reviews and they didn't like it, and maybe they didn't like it because it wasn't like Ant-Man 1 or Ant-Man 2, but I personally really liked it. I thought it was one of the best MCU movies that we have got for some time. I think that the power that Kang has in it is so good. I think MODOK as a villain is really, really good, and I thought that Hope Van Dyne exploring her story was really interesting and really quite fun. And I'm not gonna lie, the only bad thing I have to say about the movie is that in the ending sequences of the post-credit scene, I'm looking at all the Kangs, I'm looking at all the variants, and I think the most impressive and the most scary Kang is the one that they've already destroyed, the one that they've already killed at the end of Ant-Man. I think hopefully we get him looking like that in the final battle, but in Secret Wars as well in the future. But let's talk a little bit about the 5 sets I want them to make. Now, I'm going to tell you my fun set, the one that would be a little bit of fun that I think many of the fans would enjoy. It would just be a lunch with Jimmy Woo. We saw that, a little scene kind of teasing him in it, saying that he was in it, but he wasn't actually part of it. So just having a little lunch with Jimmy Woo, a little on the side by the Golden Gate Bridge, maybe in the background, just a little lunch with Jimmy Woo and Ant-Man, learning some magic. Now that would be quite fun, but let's get right into it. So the portal scene where Cassie, Hope and Hank show that they've been working on this portal to map out the quantum realm, and they didn't tell Scott because they think Scott's retired from the Avengers, too busy working on his book, and they didn't tell Janet because they thought that she was too busy, not wanting to talk about the quantum realm. So then the thing explodes up, and MODOK sends up the signal, and they all come crashing through. Now what I would like to see is maybe even just that little room with all of their workspace with the ants and the other stuff that Hank has been working on. Now that could be quite cool, and this obviously is where you could include all of them as well. Cassie, Ant-Man, Hank, him, Hope and Janet, and that's obviously where you would be able to include them. Or you could do something cooler where you would have like a sort of Lego tube where they're just falling straight down into where they end up, and actually have a scene inside it. But I think just the portal or the room that they have would be my favorite one. Now for these Lego sets, obviously the only one we currently have, I think, is Ant-Man's suit with the Wasp on his shoulder. I think that is the one that we have. So obviously I'm hoping they do more. They usually do like a little Lego set with like 3 characters and the villain we've seen for Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2. So maybe obviously it'd be Ant-Man, the Wasp and Kang probably, wouldn't it? But the next one I have on my list is MODOK's entrance. Now this is Cassie and Ant-Man. Now you can link this with when they meet those people down below. I can't quite remember his name, but they drink his ooze or whatever it is, and they can then hit everybody. So definitely that one as well. MODOK's entrance is very cool. I really liked MODOK in this film, and just Cassie and Ant-Man running from MODOK, and then they get captured by MODOK, and then they meet Kang. So definitely some of that. Obviously Kang's in his citadel, I think it's called, and you could do the prison cells from that. You could do so many things from the Citadel. Before we get onto that, I'm going to put the meeting of Lord Kryler here. I really like this scene with Bill Murray. You had Hank Pym, Hope and Janet, and obviously Lord Kryler. And obviously that would be a cool set. Now we have sort of seen a similar creature in Doctor Strange, kind of the one that falls from the sky that attacks the Sanctum Sanctorum, which would be cool because in this scene, Lord Kryler's inevitable fate comes from making one of those creatures he drinks in the cup really large, and he eats them, and that could be a very similar mold to what happens in the Lego Sanctorum set as well. So definitely that one would be really cool. And now let's talk about the final battle. Before we talk about the actual big set that I always talk about, a big final battle or a big set with 10 plus minifigures, massive set, let's talk about another one they can do. So they've done the Ant-Man sort of, you know, battle mech or whatever it is, which is it's a suit basically, which looks alright. It's not too good. I don't think they've done anything in that style very well since the Ben 10 ones, but I do think that you should have done like the minifigure ones we saw in Civil War, like just a larger minifigure, but just do that with Cassie when they both become large, and she becomes large for the first time, and they talk about, you know, citrus fruit and stuff. That could just be a really cool set where it's just the two of them and the Wasp fighting maybe two bad guys in the set as well. So why not do that? That could be a very cool set as well. Now we also have in the final battle, you have just the large amount of people fighting. So you'd have MODOK, Hope, Cassie, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Hank with his army of ants, Janet, and the rest of the people they meet along the way. So obviously this battle will need to be split up into different parts. Now I think that to split it up, you would do MODOK versus Cassie, you would do Hank with his army of ants with the other people they meet along the way, and then you would do the final scene between Kang, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. Obviously Janet is not really prevalent in this final battle. I always assumed when I was watching the film that one of them was going to die. It just seemed inevitable that maybe one of them gets stuck here again, and I thought it would be Hank. I really thought it would be Hank throughout this movie. He'd either get stuck in the quantum realm, or he would die and sacrifice himself so Janet could escape again and not get stuck here again. But towards the final battle, they're all trying to bring down the final room, and Janet's just stuck in there, and they just don't really care. And that's quite funny as well. Definitely the final battle between Kang, Ant-Man, and the Wasp. I think that's the one I would want to see as a set, probably, because that's just them beating up Kang and ruining his day. You've definitely got to just do that as well. And I think that would be amazing to do, amazing to see. And that is the final battle and what I would like to see from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, is it likely? No. They've kind of already settled on their sets. Maybe they'll do something a bit later on, but it doesn't seem very likely right now. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what sets you guys would like to see from Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Let me know what you thought of the film. Make sure to like, make sure to sub, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.